I want to give a more in-depth explanation on how you can use what Gex Radar provides on the terminal page alone. So I'll be going over that right now. Firstly, I want you to know that the terminal allows you to see all the key factors to use an options flow on one page, literally. And I'm going to go over how. Firstly, starting with the gamma regime. With the understanding of the regime, you can have an idea of the volatility for an underlying asset for that date. Also listing the gamma flip, which is where the regime shifts from long to short or short to long, and as the regime shifts, you can have an expectation on the volatility following and the underlying, depending on whichever regime we're in. So if we shift from long regime, which is usually a more suppressed market condition, and we go to short gamma or negative gamma, which is a more volatile and quicker trending market condition, that would be the shift, and you'll be able to expect that as we shift from long to short or vice versa, short to long. Then the volume trigger. What the volume trigger tells you that this is where the most hedging pressure is concentrated at a specific time, almost like a POC on a volume profile, except POC shows you where the most contracts are traded by volume. Now the key levels. This section displays the highest exposed put and call walls for that time or day, also showing 0 gex, which is also the gamma flip, and max pain is the price level where option buyers lose the most money and sellers keep the most premium. Going on to the exposure and flow tab, allows you to see the net gamma, overall gamma, at the money, implied volatility, flow ratio, net flow, and implied volatility to realized volatility spread. The flow ratio tells you if option traders are leaning more bullish or bearish at a current time. So if flow ratio is at 0.5, they're equally balanced. If they're above 0.5, option traders are betting on prices being more bullish, meaning more buying will begin to happen. If we are below 0.5, that means more bearish bets are being placed, so more selling will occur. And the extremes are most definitely the best part. If we're above 0.8, that means we're extremely too bullish and one-sided, which can indicate that an exhaustion and a reversal can be expected. If we're below 0.2, meaning we're extremely too bearish, exhaustion and a reversal can be expected. Net flow is the dollar value between bullish and bearish flow. A large number means the real money is actively buying calls or selling puts. So if the number is positive, there are more real dollars flowing into bullish trades and vice versa if it's negative. It mainly shows who's more aggressive, almost like delta, not the Greek delta, but bid minus ask delta. If the delta is positive, you know that the buyers are more aggressive, and if the delta is negative, you know that sellers are more aggressive. You want the flow ratio and net flow to correlate in order to find a more probable chance of market direction. For example, if flow ratio is above 0.5 and net flow is positive, that's 2 bullish confirmations. Implied volatility, also known as IV, lets you know what the market expects stocks to do or what it should be doing. Unlike realized volatility, or RV, it tells you what the stock has actually been doing. Although that is important, the gap between them is where the edge is. If IV is higher than RV, that means that options are currently overpriced compared to the actual movement of that stock, so sellers would have the edge. And if RV is higher than IV, options are underpriced, meaning the stock is moving more than expected and buyers would have the edge. If Gex Radar's IV to RV spread is red or negative, that means IV is however many percentage points below RV. And if it's green or positive, that's how many percentage points RV is above IV. Now going down to the Greeks, such as Gex, Dex, Vex, Chex, I will be going over what they mean and how you can possibly use them. Starting with Dex. Dex is how much stock or option dealers have to buy or sell to hedge. Large positive exposure means dealers are long a lot of stock, which locks up supply and makes it harder to push price down. Large negative gamma exposure means dealers are net short, being vice versa. It will be harder to push price higher, approaching a negative gamma wall on the DEX chart. Now Vega, VEX, which is Vega exposure. It shows dealers' sensitivity to volatility. So where negative VEX and IV rises, meaning more volatility, dealers get hurt, so they'll most likely try to suppress the volatility. If we're positive VEX, dealers benefit when IV rises, so they have no reason to suppress the volatility and they'll let volatility run or do more to amplify it. Now, checks or charm exposure shows the hedging pressure caused purely by time passing. Every day that goes by, dealers' delta shifts, so they're forced to buy or sell a stock just to rebalance their new delta. Now, lastly, one of my favorites, Heatmap. Heatmap allows you to visually see where dealer hedging is concentrated over a course of multiple expiration dates. Each column is an expiration and each row is a strike. The bright color intensity is based off how much GEX sits at that strike. Depending on how your customized Heatmap color, the green is the positive gamma and the red is the negative gamma. How do you go about reading it? Just simply looking at the brightest and largest nodes, and those will be your levels with the highest conviction, especially if it aligns with the major wall, which you can see on the right side. So if I was to put this on 0 DTE, I can see one of my highest walls, even though the options chain is currently closed, 59 million sitting at 663, which also aligns with the 663 call wall, and vice versa would be for the put wall, and that will allow you to have more conviction on that specific level. But that would be how you can pair everything or use each and every individual tool that GEX Radar allows you to use on the terminal to your advantage. If there are any other questions, I will put my server link in the comments. I'm not able to put in my bio yet, but y'all be able to reach me through there. I do all of this for free. I don't charge anything. I'm just trying to give back to everyone as much as I can. Also, if you are interested in getting GEX Radar, look into my server. I have a code in there for you to use to get 20% off the original price for your first month.